All right, 2022 year in review. Why is this showing? Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's look at what Sheev's been up to. By the way, Sheev wants to read the Andromeda Strain. Oh, interesting. Because I just rated it and he looked at it. For some reason, he's been wanting to read like a lot of these. I need to get him on here and have a podcast with him or something about books. These Chronicles of Narnia. Hey, you liked this one that I bought the other day. Twilight? Lightning Thief? Golden Compass? He's like, wants to read all these like kids books all of a sudden. It's weird. Anyway. Let's see. Here's my reading challenge of 2022. I have read 40. It's actually 46. I don't know why it says 47. So it's like 153% of the challenge. Let's see. If we go here. Yeah, see, 46. So here are all the books I read this year. Doesn't seem that like that many when you put them on a page like this, because it's like, just that to that. But, you know, I guess that's a lot. Last 2019, I read 13 books. Let's look at that real quick. 2019, here's all I read. That's some Game of Thrones, Stephen King's, Larry Correia. That's pretty much what I would do. I was like, is there any new Larry Correia books or whatever? And I would look on Amazon. Is there any new, what's his name, Jim Butcher books? Any new, like, Dresden Files? That's how I used to shop for books. And I'd get some interesting Stephen King's or whatever, and Polania, because, like, one of the authors I would kind of follow, and Robert Heinlein. Read, like, 10 in 2020. 2021, I finished up the Game of Thrones. I got Peace Talks, read It. I was at work then. There's Marley. That was like the year right before I got fired. 2 Ernest Cline books. I mean, I was starting to read at work a lot. And then this year, I was like, I'm going to step it up. But I didn't really decide to step it up until like halfway through the year. So I'm thinking next year, if I go in as hard as I've been going this year from the start, I can hit 60. So yeah. What is the worst book I've read this year? Let's look through here. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Carrie Mora. This is the Hannibal Lecter guy, Thomas Harris. It was just a real piece of dog shit. Colorado Kid by Stephen King was also a real stinker. Real not fun. Just people sitting around talking about some stupid story that happened in the news. Catch-22 wasn't really bad. It was just annoying because the book could have been like 100 pages and it would have got the same. They just kept repeating the same joke kind of over and over again, and it was hard to get through because they kept repeating their lines a lot. Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was just like, she's so old, I guess, from back then. The style was weird. Artemis was not fantastic. It was good. Animal Farm was good, but it turned me into a communist. So that's... I'm not really a communist, but I could see. Time and Again by Jack Finney. This was one that's like not really my style I would normally read, but I was pleasantly surprised by it. This is one like Stephen King recommended at the end of 11/22/63, the time travel book he wrote, because this is about time travel. Elevation by Stephen King wasn't really good either. It was a little bit better than Colorado Kid, but it was just kind of about some lesbians and the guy kept getting lighter and he floated off into the space. John Scalzi's Lock-In was pretty bad. I mean, it's so mediocre. Just like a police story, but it's kind of in the future with like this weird technology. What was I pleasantly surprised by this year? Well, Bitcoin Billionaires. I was pleasantly surprised. It was really good. Non-fiction, kind of. Robert Heinlein's Job, Comedy of Justice. I mean, I liked Robert Heinlein already, but this is now my favorite Heinlein book. Can I say that with Starship Troopers in existence? And Tunnel in the Sky. Tunnel in the Sky used to be my favorite, but I think Job is going to be better now. Runaway. Runaway was not that good either. It was real mediocre by Harlan Coben. So I haven't read any more Harlan Coben since then. Nosferatu, I was very pleasantly surprised. It's going to be my contender for Book of the Year. I don't know if I can even make a Book of the Year. It's so hard to decide. All the Brandon Sanderson stuff, I was pleasantly surprised. I started out reading Way of Kings, and I'm like, I'm not liking this. But then, once you start understanding what's going on, then it's fucking Words of Radiance is like, great. And all these other books are great. And all the novellas were pretty great. So I'm hooked on Brandon Sanderson now. It's a little bit juvenile, because he's kind of like a nerd like us. But, it's good. It's good stuff. Red Rising, I was really surprised how good it turned out to be. And Golden Sun, I was a little bit surprised how not as good as everybody says it was going to be, it turned out to be. Joe Abercrombie, Bite Itself, Before They're Hanged, I'm surprised at how not as good as everybody said they were going to be. I was very underwhelmed by Joe Abercrombie. But now I am, like, it's kind of like, the more time you think about it, the more you like it. It's kind of like when you go camping, you don't really enjoy it while you're doing it, but then after you get back home, you're like, I had a pretty fun time. That's kind of like how Joe Abercrombie is. Glory Road was really good, but kind of weird. A lot of Heinlein books are weird if you just kind of understand them. But best book of the year, Institute was way up there. It was probably a 9 out of 10. It's really good for a Stephen King book. It's like not as good as like The Outsider and the Mr. Mercedes trilogy, Bill Hodges trilogy, but it's kind of in that vein. It's almost as good. Monster Hunter Siege was really good. The Dean Koontz books, the Odd Thomas series, my mom got me into. Those were pretty good, and they were really quick. You can read them in like 2 days. What else have I not talked about? Best book of the year. What is the best book? Fucking Vampire Hunter. I forgot to say. This was like, blew my mind how surprisingly good it was. I did not expect anything from that, and it turned out to be amazing. I'm going to have to give it like a 5 or 6 way tie for the best book of the year. I don't even know. I can't decide. Best character writing goes to Nosferatu. Definitely. Even though everybody says Joe Abercrombie's characters are the best. You even got shit on Joe Hill's characters, Nosferatu. Even Brandon Sanderson's characters are better than Joe Abercrombie. Most surprising, I guess, was probably The Vampire Hunter. I'd say Leviathan Wakes would be up there for the top book of the year. And also Battleground by Jim Butcher. This is probably... It's probably one of the best of the whole 16-book series of the Dresden Files. It was pretty fucking epic. The one that had Santa Claus in it, though, that was probably... Maybe that one edged it out a little bit, but this one was way up there. So, The Andromeda Strain, also, I was super hyped. Just read Mistborn. That one was kind of like... It turned out decent, but I didn't like it at the beginning, so I think I rated it pretty low. The Unsouled and Soulsmith were pretty good. Very anime-ish, but it's also kind of like Asian-y, so it didn't really... The prose wasn't as like on point as some of the other books, but it's good. Nightmares and Dreamscapes was like a Halloween thing I read. Pretty decent. But book of the year. I mean, I remember how hyped I was for Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. and Nosferatu, and the whole Expanse. Leviathan Wake's probably being the best since it's the first one. And then Job, Robert Heinlein. I was like, when I read that, I was like, oh, this has got to be book of the year. This is like so crazy of a story, and it's like keeps getting better and better. I had my mom read it. It's got like atheistic stuff in it. So yeah, I'll say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-way tie between Nosferatu, Vampire Hunter, Battleground, Job, and Leviathan Wakes for first place. And then second place is the entire Stormlight Archive, because it had a little rough start, but then like now I'm totally committed to the whole thing. Oh shit, I forgot about the Andromeda Strain. Or did I? Yeah, fuck. Maybe that also ties for second. I don't know. These are some really good books I've read this year. So much to choose from. And new authors. How many new authors have I read? Well, Stephen King I also always read. John Scalzi I always read. Jack Finney is new. I don't think he's written like a lot more things that I would probably read. Dean Koontz. I've never read Dean Koontz till this year. That's a new author. I've heard Velocity is good. Intensity is good. I haven't read either one of those. I've got like Lightning, I think, and some other ones that are supposed to be decent. I got to finish up the Odd Thomas. There's like 3 more books of Odd Thomas I got to read. Let's see, what does Jack Finney got? Invasion of the Body Snatchers? From Time to Time? So that's a sequel to Time and Again, I guess. About Time, 12 short stories. Contents of the Dead Man's Pockets. Yeah, I probably ain't going to read any of this. But Ben Mesrick, I saw another book he did the other day. Thomas Harris. New author for me, but I don't know if I want to read the Hannibal Lecter stuff because that one was so bad. Ben Resnick. The Accidental Billionaire's Founding of Facebook, Tale of Sex, Money, Genius, and Betrayal. So that is kind of similar to Bitcoin Billionaires, because I think it's also about the Winklevoss twins. Ugly Americans. Yeah, he's got some really interesting books. Wall Street to Dubai. Woolly Mammoth book. Oh, fuck yeah. Straight Flush, the true story of 6 college friends who dealt their way to a $1 billion online poker empire, and how it all came crashing down. Oh, here's Bringing Down the House, inside story of 6 MIT students who took Vegas for millions. Yeah, see, I add that to my want to read right now. Sex on the Moon, amazing story behind the most audacious heist in history. What the hell is that about? Anyway, so that's like a really interesting new author I'll have to start reading. Andy Weir, I'd already read The Martian, so he's not really new to me. Joseph Heller was new, and I didn't really like it, so I don't know if I'm really going to read Closing Time now. George Orwell, I might read 1984 eventually. Harlan Coben was new to me, but I didn't really like it, so meh. Michael Crichton, new author I'm definitely going to be reading more of. I already collected like almost everything he's wrote. Joe Hill, definitely want to read his other books after reading that one. Joe Abercrombie was a new author to me. I also have 4 more books of his to read, and then there's like Little Hatred is supposed to be amazing, but can I trust people that say he's good? Because apparently my tastes in fantasy is different than everybody's, so I don't know. Sharp Ends, that's another standalone I need to get. And then you got the rest of the little Wisdom of Crowds and Trouble with Peace, I think is the other 3 books. I'll probably eventually get them. But then Will White, has he written anything besides Cradle? Let me see what he's got over here. Traveler's Gate. Oh, Elder Empire C, Shadow Sea. Yeah, these look real interesting. Like some pirate novels. What we got going on over here? Yeah, definitely want to check more Will White out because he's pretty dope. He doesn't sound like an Asian guy, but this is like a whole Asian fantasy, so I don't know why it kind of reads like an Asian person wrote it. What does he look like? He just got a gnome there, so it doesn't really tell me anything. Pierce Brown. Let's see what else he's wrote. Good looking guy. Yeah, so looks like Red Rising series is the only thing he's done. Oh, this is a new one that comes out this year, Lightbringer. He's got Asian versions of it too. Let's see this. It's got a golden horse on it. Yeah, everybody's talking about that. Right now, who is that? Christopher Rucchio is like one that everybody's into right now. I'm gonna have to start. The Sun Eater, Empire of Silence is the first book, but these are like expensive, and yeah, I don't know how to get into this. What else has he written? Everybody right now has been reading these Sun Eater books. Ashes of Man. I see everybody talking about this book. And then Howling Dark. Supposed to be real good. But yeah, that's pretty much all the new authors I think I've read this year. Isn't it? What is this? It's like repeating. Brandon Sanderson was new. Oh yeah, the Seth Graham Smith. I saw that Pride and Prejudice and Zombies book the other day at one of these Goodwills, but it was like... No, I think I saw it at the place that was like $4. I didn't want to pay that much for it because I figured I'd find it for $1 somewhere or something. I should have got it. Yeah, I've got the movie, so I definitely want to read that before I watch the movie. Shirley Jackson, I had never read. I've seen The Lottery, like a little movie they showed us in high school, but I never read her before. And, wasn't really that impressed. But anyway, been a good year for 2022. 46 books. Quite proud of myself. The end.